Hey guys, JT Tran here, and today I have a special guest, Arden Leigh, the author of The New Rules of Attraction. Now, every week I'm going to try to give you new guests that can provide a lot of value, and Arden here is going to give you the female perspective when it comes to relationships and sex. But first of all, Arden, tell our audience here a little bit about your background.
Well, I started studying seduction in around 2007, and it was right around the time when the game and VH1's pickup artists started coming out and getting very popular. And I was one of only a few women I knew who were fascinated, who were not put off by it, who were like, we want this for ourselves.
Well, I've noticed that there are two types of girls. Obviously, they're the ones that get turned off by it. But one thing I've noticed is that heavily socialized girls and girls that are just know how to flirt, they're fascinated. When I tell them what I do, they're like, really? I want to know more about that, right?
Yeah. Well, the advice that had been out there for women for so long, especially in the 90s and even through like the early 2000s, was just so awful. We had books like The Rules and Why Men Love Bitches and He's Just Not That Into You, and everything out there is telling women to just like sit there on your bar stool and wait for a guy to come and approach you, and if the guy that you want doesn't approach you or doesn't notice you, then he just wasn't into you in the first place, and you should just sit there and not do anything about it.
Traditional female passivity.
Yeah, and I was like, this is awful. Like, what if the guy that I want hasn't noticed me yet? Because I was a very late bloomer. I was a virgin until I was 22.
Really? Then you beat me. I was a virgin until I was 20.
22 and a half, actually, because...
High five for virgins.
High five for that finally being over. And so it just wasn't, it just wasn't working for me. And when I discovered pickup, it was like, okay, here's a group of guys who are collectively coming together to refine their skill set around approaching women and dating the kind of women that they want. And what I admired about it was how proactive it was. So I started going around to, I lived in New York at the time. I went to the Lair, and I hung out with some of those guys, and of course, I met Neil and I met Mystery, and of course I read Robert Greene, and I got my certification in NLP and hypnosis.
Oh, look at her.
I was serious about it, and I still am. And so I started kind of cultivating a skill set that was based in pickup, based in that same degree of like go out and go after what you want, but with women's goals in mind.
Right. So you predominantly teach women.
Yeah.
Okay. But obviously from a female perspective, you can provide a lot of insight for our guys.
Of course, yeah.
So
I coach men too. I mostly I'll wing for guys, or I'll help host their parties if they want to, have a bunch of girls at their table, drinking from their bottle or whatever. I'll get you all the hot girls in the room, we'll all have fun.
Wait, that's our job.
Then I'm like, talk to them. I was like, I brought you the hottest girl in the club and nobody's talking to her. Come on, you guys.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Trust me on that. So interestingly, to go back, when you said you were a late bloomer, at the age of 22, what is not necessarily your thought process at the time, but what is the thought process when a girl decides to have sex with a guy? Because when I lost my virginity is in college, my college girlfriend, who ended up being my college girlfriend, and she chose me, obviously, engineering college, 10 guys, 1 girl. And we are basically in bed, boxers, and she's in bra and panties, and she looks at me and says, we're not going to have sex, right? I'm like, we're in our underwear, how are we not having sex? What kind of logic is this? What is the female logic or thought process when a guy, I'm sure guys, you have this come up, what is she thinking? What makes her decide to have sex with a guy?
Yeah. Well, my first bit of advice about that would be, the topic of consent is out there on everyone's minds lately, especially with the California Yes Means Yes bill, and which I think is great. It's a wonderful way of pushing forward. And it's not about accusing people of sexual assault just because they maybe don't know what they're doing. It's really about making sure, holding both partners accountable for communicating with one another.
Yeah. One thing I noticed as I dated more and more girls, I kept on hearing stories of just guys being a little bit too much aggressive.
Yeah.
And it got me curious because I kept seeing and hearing a repeating pattern. And I read a statistic that 1 out of 3 women that someone has tried to sexually, assault them, which is blew my mind. We as men don't think that.
Yeah.
Like, this is why girls would be like,
I had to punch a guy to get him off of me.
Yeah.
And then he got mad at me for breaking his glasses.
oh, poor baby.
Like, are you kidding me? You were on top of me. I had and yeah, your glasses got. Oh yeah. So when we tell guys those stories, and here's the thing: is guys never see that stuff happen because a guy is not going to do that if there's another man around. So they kind of have to just take it on blind faith. But yeah.
I mean, when you can understand things from a female perspective, you'll always be better off. Like we as guys, we never ask our buddy, hey man, could you carry me to the car? Cause like, can I take off my shoes and you carry me?
Yeah.
Or just any kind of those safety factors. Walk me to my car. Like that, girls have to watch out for. So beyond.
But I do want to address your question, about a girl who says, "Oh, we're not having sex tonight" or whatever. And I think what's important is it's like women also have to be held accountable because what slut shaming does to a lot of women is, then you get ASD, anti-slut defense. We're not having sex. If I say we're not having sex now, but then we have sex later, then it's not my fault. It just happened, quote unquote. Right. And that's kind of bullshit. Like, come on, women, we can do better. Like, if you want to have sex, own it. And for guys, hold your women to those standards. Like, if they're like, I don't want to have sex, be like, okay, make them say it before you do it. Make that. It can be sexy. You can be like, you want it, beg for it, or whatever. But don't. Louis C.K. does this stand-up routine where it's he talks about this girl who he was making out with her in a hotel room, and then she was like, oh no, and he kind of tried, and no. She was like, I was like, okay, and then she was like, hey, I really had a fun time that night, well, I don't know why anything didn't happen, and he was like, you kept telling me to stop, I stopped. She was like, yeah, but I wanted you to be dominant and aggressive and just take me, and he was like, no, you're asking me to rape you on the off chance that that's what you want. I'm not going to do that, So if women, if that's your fantasy, that's fine. But you have to be like, this is my fantasy. No, not that's going to ruin the don't expect a guy to push further than your communication is warranting, because if he does that with another woman who actually doesn't want that, then that's not cool for anybody. So let's all just admit that we want to have sex. Let's say that we want to have sex when we want to have sex, and let's make sure that the other person is also saying so too.
Great advice. So a bit further down the line, let's say the guy, the girl, they're in some sort of relationship, but they don't want anything serious, or they want to keep it open. How do you maintain and have a relationship like that? How do you broach the topic of having a non-monogamous relationship with someone and keep it happy?
Sure. Well, first of all, you have to make sure that you're with the right person. So personally, I would kind of say these things. If this is really what you want, it's what is important to you, I would say them up front. I would be like, when you're on your first couple dates and talking about your relationship history, that's a great time for, I always try to drop in. I'm like, yeah, I haven't really been monogamous since 2009. I've had great relationships, I've had great lovers and partners, but I haven't really done the monogamy thing since then. And that's a great way for people to, if they need to question, well, would you do the monogamy thing, or is it not right for you? What are your feelings about that? And yeah, it's like if you just talk about yourself and your own preferences without imposing those things on the person that you're on a date with, then you're really just telling them about you and allowing them to make the choice of whether that's going to be a situation that's right for them or not.
Right. So from a kind of more logistical or strategic point of view, how does one...
Google calendars?
Yeah. How do you juggle multiple dating partners?
Oh man.
Other than Google Calendar.
I tend to date a lot of really busy people. So, and here's an interesting thing. This is the thing that I've just realized about myself lately. I hope this is relevant to your question. But I've realized about myself that if there are, in the past, when there have been partners who have been completely accessible to me, who just let me kind of take my like bulldozer of seduction and like roll right through.
I like that, bulldozer of seduction. That's our new nickname.
Right? Arden Leigh. No, I'm the honey badger of seduction.
The honey badger, okay.
The honey badger of pickup. But when I've just kind of rolled through and, you know, like I'll meet a guy, I'll spend a couple days with him, and then I'll be like, let's go to Vegas for a week because it's February and air
why not?
And why not? And we're there for like 4 days, and then I'm like, hey, in this case it was someone who was long distance, and I was like, hey, come stay with me in New York for a week, or hey, let's do this and that. And then like after a couple months, it just burns out because there's nowhere for it to go. Yeah. So in a weird way, it's kind of a real poetic justice that I find myself in a situation now where the people I'm dating are like insanely busy, and it's one of those things where it's like, kind of serves me right.
What's the old idea, like, what is it, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
You have to create a void, and this is a great tip for all you guys out there. If you have someone that you're interested in, things are getting pretty serious, you know, you want to have her chase you. It can't always be the guy going, you know, on.
Yeah.
You have to create a void so that she pursues,
sure.
And so that it's her choice of like, you know, she's investing in the process as opposed to her kind of like sitting back, laying back, passively like, okay, you're gonna do this to me.
Yeah.
She invests into you. Okay, Arden, some really great pieces of advice. Appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
How can our audience find you?
Well, you can check out my book, The New Rules of Attraction, and that's on Amazon.com. You can also find it in most Barnes & Nobles. And you can check out my blog, Arden Leigh, ardenleigh.typepad.com. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Arden Sirens, and Sirens is the name of my company where I do my coaching, the Siren Seduction Forum for Women, and you can find us online at seductionsirens.com. So, or you can just Google me, but careful because I do have nudes on the internet.
Well, we will be putting it in the box description down there, so check it out.